92.5.
Here this morning with Kim Barker. Thanks so much for coming in with us.
Woo! Thanks very much for having me.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrott, which this morning, I didn't know last night, but this morning I found out what that stands for.
But it took you a little while, man.
It actually took anyway. I looked, she
Come
goes,
on,
don't you
did
know
you
what
see
that
those
means?
initials?
I never made the connection. Last night I'm like, I don't get it.
What's the name of this movie mean?
Yeah, exactly. I thought, oh, that's some kind of special thing going on. Tina Fey stars as you.
Yeah, I know. How strange is that and awesome is that?
How does that happen? How did you put this all together? You started with a book.
Yeah, I wrote a book. I kind of feel like I had nothing to do with it. I wrote a darkly comic book called The Taliban Shuffle. It was published back in March of 2011. And Michiko Kakutani was the reviewer on the book for the New York Times, and she wrote a review that described me as Tina Fey, like a Tina Fey character. Yeah. And it was one of her favorite books of the year, so she gave it this huge rave. And because Tina is a total, egomaniac. No, I'm just kidding. That's the joke she made the other day.
She's a local girl.
Yeah. No, and so somebody brought it to her, or she read the review, and she read the book. So within 2 weeks of the review coming out, she had said she wanted to do it, and Paramount optioned it on her behalf. So it's kind of all Tina. This is really Tina's movie. It's Tina's production. Robert Carlock, her right-hand man, was the screenwriter on it, and I think they did a really good job on it. Obviously, it's sort of banged up and Hollywooded up, but it's still very true to my story and to the narrative arc I had over there, if I can talk about such a thing.
So the story is where she's basically a writer in a newsroom writing really bland stories,
right?
And then gets the offer to go over there.
Right.
Did you go through the same thing?
I was in Chicago. I was at the Chicago Tribune. I was a print journalist. I am a print journalist.
Yeah.
They still exist. And 9/11 happened, and what I was doing before really paled in comparison to the idea of being able to go over there and to cover what I felt like was the most important story happening in the world at that point. But I didn't wait for anybody to ask me. I volunteered. Yeah,
so cool.
I was just like, I had heard they were looking to send more women overseas and to try more, women out as foreign correspondents. So I went to the foreign editor's office, knocked on the door, and I was trying to come up with some way I could distinguish myself from other really good female journalists. And I said, hi, my name is Kim Barker. I'm a Metro reporter. I'm single, and I'm childless, and I'm expendable. And I'll go anywhere you want to send me. And he just started laughing. I mean, I'm always a bit of a smart aleck. You can kind of tell if you read the book or you listen to me for 3 minutes. So, he just laughed, asked me where else I had been. And I hadn't even been to Europe at that point, but I had been to Egypt and Jordan. So he just said, get ready to go to Pakistan. And it was that simple. And I remember telling my parents, that they were going to send me to Pakistan, and they were like, why would anybody send you to Pakistan? You don't know anything about Pakistan.
Are they mad at you? Why is that?
Yeah, exactly. Have you done something wrong?
Yeah.
Are you being banished?
Well, a couple of things that stood out when I was watching the scene, and as soon as she arrives in Afghanistan, the whole thing about the way it smells and all that, how did that all play in?
It's really
Have you been there? You've seen what all that's about, and that's all
in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it looks exactly like Afghanistan.
Where was that, by the way, that we were looking at? Where'd you shoot the movie?
Well, it's got a lot of B-roll from actually Afghanistan, and then they built sets in New Mexico, and they filmed mostly in New Mexico. It's gotten really dangerous in New Mexico, obviously. And it looks really authentic. It feels authentic. They're speaking Dari and Pashto in the movie. It's not like one of these movies where, it's set in Pakistan. Like, this happened in Zero Dark 30. I swear to God, they were speaking Arabic when they were in Pakistan. And it's one of those things that when you're over there, you're like, get that right at least. So I really feel like they did such a good job capturing what it's like in Afghanistan. It looks and feels like Afghanistan, and it's very true. I mean, the minute I would ever walk off the plane in Kabul, I would be sick within about 6 hours because I'm extremely allergic to dust. And the dust really has a high fecal content. I mean, it's like, that's actually true.
What you're talking about.
Yeah, it's actually true. Fecal dust, that's what we called it. That was the air we breathed.
That is something else.
And you don't know how to breathe when that's going on. Do you do it through your nose or your mouth? I mean, nothing's
Either way you lose, right?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Poison.
Yeah.
So did you, as far as, there's a scene with a nightclub, I guess, that's in there. That's on the base, right?
No. There are no nightclubs on any American military base or any NATO base in Afghanistan, unless NATO has snuck one into the Germans' fob, but I don't know about that. No, I mean, they had these nightclubs in Kabul, and when I stayed there, it's not like I was staying on a military base. I stayed in a place that was called the Fun House, just like Tina does in the movie. I have no idea who nicknamed it that, but we had these two different cab services and later three that dealt mainly in foreign,
Right.
picking up the foreigners and taking them where they were going. And there was no addresses in Kabul. It wasn't like you had house numbers outside, so all the houses just had nicknames, and ours, for some reason, was known as the Fun House. So you're actually staying out there in the city, next door to Afghans, and there was this sort of nightlife that developed there, catering to all the foreigners who came in. We would go to brothels to sing karaoke and play pool. And drink Heineken. For some reason, Heineken cornered the beer market in Afghanistan. I don't know how they did that, but Jacob's Creek pretty much cornered the wine market, but it would be like $45 for a $6 bottle of wine.
Is that the way it was with all the foreign reporters? They would all, even though they all compete, they all hung out together?
Yeah, most of us. I mean, there was always the sort of outliers who, didn't want to hang out and did their own thing. But most foreign correspondents and, there's aid workers and, diplomats, UN workers, all of us were sort of mixing together. And you were working 24/7. I mean, all of you were obviously working all the time. And in this lifestyle that was very restricted, right? You're going out and you're covering suicide bombs. You're doing stories like on, women who would rather throw acid on themselves than be in a forced marriage. Stories on like the increasing addiction of heroin of Afghans, and some really, really sad, difficult stories to do. And then it's not like you have any sort of release. It's not like you can go running. It's not like you can talk to your therapist. Or my mother's always like, "Why didn't you do yoga?" And I was like, "Oh, you go do yoga, Mom." Because it's like, over there, you really develop this lifestyle where the release is the parties. It's going to the brothels. It's singing. It's drinking too much. And then the next day it's rinse and repeat.
Yeah, start all over again. It's an amazing movie. And Tina Fey, I think she's going to be up for an award for this.
I think she's so good in it. I really think that it's her best role. I do. I mean, I think that she's so good in it. And I think that people will really be surprised when they see the movie. You hear SNL and Tina, and you might think just a strict comedy, but there's a lot of drama in this. And I know it sounds absolutely ridiculous because it's my story, but at a point, I even teared up in watching the movie. I was really pleasantly surprised.
It was in a smaller theater last night. I mean, when they get into the scenes where a bomb goes off, or the shooting going on outside, it almost sets you into reality.
Yeah, you feel it. I mean, I definitely felt it. Yeah.
Well, that's good. So when's opening? March 4th?
March 4th, yeah. It's opening March 4th. My book has been re-released this week. It's now in bookstores, called Whiskey Tango Foxtrott, with 100% more Tina Fey, because her picture's on the cover.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, Kim, thank you for coming in this morning. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me on.